over the past week alone, Laura Loomer has tweeted 221 times about Qatar. I think this lady is actually going through a manic episode. And of course, it's not just Laura Loomer, however. It is your typicals like Mark Levin stating pimping for Qatar. This buffoon is all in, as if Mark Levin is not pimping for the state of Israel. And Ted Cruz, of course, also going like absolutely completely manic, these guys, posting a photo of Tucker Carlson, a meme of him with his legs spread apart, live footage of Tucker Carlson interviewing the Prime Minister of Qatar. I am going to show you a few minutes of that interview, but before I do, Roger Stone, who he himself states is a friend of Laura Loomer, apparently, and Donald Trump as well, actually went out publicly and stated that this chick is just crashing out. Something's up with her. Roger Stone and Laura Loomer clash over Tucker Carlson. I'll just go ahead and read you exactly what Roger Stone wrote. So he wrote, due to the inability to quite legally obtain all of Laura Loomer's banks and financial records offshore, very soon you'll know, due to the ability to quite legally obtain, very soon you'll know exactly who's paying for her and why. Tucker Carlson will always be Laura Loomer's intellectual superior, and no amount of her annoying whining will ever change that. He goes on, this is actually a thread. He says, Laura Loomer and Tucker Carlson are both longtime friends of mine, but Laura needs psychiatric help for her obsession regarding Tucker. Frankly, if I were him, I'd sue the F out of her because there is not a lawyer in the United States willing to defend her. See us shrink, Laura. You ain't right in the head. I'm honestly pretty surprised. I don't know too much about Roger Stone. I've seen some of his content before. He made I think he made a book or something regarding JFK. Of course, JFK's assassination that I wasn't quite happy with. Of course, he completely just sidelines the Israel connection. But regardless, if you guys don't know who Laura Loomer is or some of the crazy things this lady has done, she previously locked herself with handcuffs to the Twitter headquarters back when Twitter shut down her account prior to the Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter. So this girl's absolutely psycho. Now, what I did want to show you, of course, is this part of the interview that Tucker Carlson actually gave with Qatar's prime minister. Regarding specifically Hamas and the United States and Israel deciding to fund and allow for Hamas to remain in Qatar. It's a pretty eye-opening interview, to say the least. So just go ahead and take a listen to this.
Truth of that. So my understanding is Hamas is here in Doha because the United States and Israel asked you to host Hamas. Is that true? And if not, what is the truth about Hamas in Doha?
Well, thank you, Tucker. First of all, look, the starting of the relationship with Hamas and the communication was started back more than 10 years, 13 years ago, at the request of the United States. Even beyond that, like it was 19 years ago when they first participated in the election, and then when they moved their office back in 2012 here, it was used only for the communication and to facilitate like ceasefire, facilitating aids to Gaza. Now, unfortunately, Qatar has been attacked for having them here, but when you look, at what's happening within the region, this region, when you look at its conflict, it has the parties of the conflict. Sometimes they are state actors, sometimes they are non-state actors. If you have no one speaking to those non-state actors, how we are going to resolve or to reach to a solution at the end of the day? And now we have seen that this communication has led to ceasefires, has led to the release of the hostages, has led to alleviating the suffering of the people over there. And unfortunately, there are like politicians who are trying to use this to score like short-term political gains to fuel their narratives in order to using Qatar to blame another country for what's happening over there or for their wrong policies. All our aid and all our support and financing that went and what they claimed that it went to Hamas, went to Gaza, went to the people, and it was under very transparent process that the United States is fully aware about. Israel is the one who's facilitating, and it's not one government, it was across governments. Netanyahu, Bennett, we have dealt with all the agencies.
And I'm going to stop right there. There's about another minute of it that I'll show here in a sec. But I think it is important for people to know this because I don't think that many people do. And it's the fact that, you're seeing these pro-Israel firsters absolutely crashing out about Qatar influence, specifically, of course, about Hamas. We never talk about the fact that Netanyahu has funded and facilitated and made sure to prop up Hamas since 2005, all the way up until 2019. So this wasn't that long ago at all. This was just 6 years ago. Why? Well, because Netanyahu's goal has always been to make sure that a two-state solution is never possible. The best way to do that is by causing infighting, by separating Gaza from the West Bank and making less of a Palestinian united front. It's going to be a lot more difficult for a two-state solution to actually happen. So what did Netanyahu do? He was like, well, you know what? I'm going to start funding the more militant Hamas, and I'm going to make sure to bolster them up so that way the Palestinian Authority is weakened. So that way we never have a two-state solution. This has always been the goal, and not just funding a little bit. The guy's been funding millions and millions of dollars. I can pull up a Times of in Israel article while you guys are watching the remainder of this clip, but that's a very important point to make because Netanyahu, up until this point, he allowed for the situations to happen that caused the situation we're in today. And now everybody's crashing out over it. So let's play a little bit more of this because, again, it's still pretty important. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you what everybody else is saying on social media about it as well. So take a listen right
Shimbet,
here. There we
the
go.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the defense, all of them, they were involved in these aids and the delivery of those aids. So today, when they are claiming that this is the financing of Qatar to Hamas, it has no basis. It's just a way to spread disinformation about a country that doesn't do anything for them, but it's doing things that are against their policies. If you just go to Qatar records with in its engagement with the United States for the last 20 years or 30 years, Qatar has never went to the United States and encouraging them to bomb this country or to support this group or to that group. We've been always in our dialogues with the United States about how we de-escalate the region, how we bring peace to the region, and this peace cannot happen without an engagement with everyone in the region.
So Jimmy Dore, some of you guys might know Jimmy Dore. He has the Jimmy Dore Show. He actually also went on X earlier and tweeted, the reason the United States, Israel, and the Mossad made sure Hamas was funded instead of the secular, nonviolent PLO is so they could set up a scenario where they say, quote, we have no one to negotiate with because Hamas are terrorists, so they can then wipe out the entire population, ethnically cleanse Palestine, and fully take it over. That was their plan all along, and now we're seeing them implement it. So I find it so interesting. And guys, this is what I will say. I mean, genuinely, please, if I'm missing something here, I want you guys to tell me. First off, I don't like foreign lobbying. I actually don't understand how foreign lobbying is allowed in general, whether or not they're FARA registered. I mean, FARA allows you to be able to see more of their finances, to be able to track everything better to the source. I really have yet to hear of somebody make a really strong argument for lobbying. I genuinely don't understand it. So I don't think Israel should be lobbying. I don't think Qatar should be lobbying. If you play the rest of that interview, you'll hear that Qatar goes ahead and says, well, we wouldn't even want to pour our money into lobbying if we knew that if there weren't so many people from the pro-Israel side trying to destroy the relationship between the United States and Qatar, we wouldn't have to. Regardless of how I feel about that, I still, again, don't think foreign lobbying should be allowed whatsoever. I truly just set aside all of your viewpoints on the Arab states. What benefit does Israel bring that the Gulf countries don't bring, where America doesn't have to spend aid to do it, doesn't need to be coerced? America can make their own decisions. There is no benefit to Israel aside from war. There is no benefit to spending all of the money. What is it? Intelligence? Do you know how many damn military bases there are in the Middle East? Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the rest of the Gulf countries. If it's really to just make sure that Iran is cornered, do you know how much military assets we already have in the Middle East that don't require Israel to do that? Okay. What is it? The billions of dollars that we spend giving aid to Israel? Imagine just all of that being eliminated. If you guys think that Iran is the last enemy that the United States has to take out for Israel, and then we're going to have peace in the region, you're very, very wrong. You're very wrong, because Israel's long-term vision is so much larger than that. It wants to go from the river to the river. You hear prime ministers like Netanyahu state this themselves. Netanyahu said this in an interview in the Times of Israel just a couple months ago. They want parts of Lebanon, parts of Syria. Israel's finance minister, Smotrich, recently talked about how he plans to hopefully in his lifetime see Israel expand all the way to Damascus. Okay? Jordan, northern Saudi Arabia. These people are actually delusional. And whether or not you believe this could happen, the radical right wing in Israel, the people that have power currently in Israel, and the Likud party envision this. This is their game plan. So if you think that that can happen without consistent and endless war after war after war after war in order to expand, then you're not taking an honest look and assessment of the picture. So is that what the United States is going to be in for the next few decades? Just continuous war, continuous backing, continuous military backing. Imagine of all the extremism that's going to arise and all the hatred towards the United States that's going to happen when you have all of these Arabs getting bombed by Israel using American-made weapons. You think that's gonna lead to America having good global standing or having a lot of great allies, or is it gonna lead to a lot of anger towards America that we don't need? Why are we exporting terrorism and violence to the United States? It's unnecessary. It doesn't help us. But for some reason, Laura Loomer drools at the idea of that. Ted Cruz drools at the idea of that. They somehow think, you know what, if we keep supporting this project in the Middle East and backing them until they expand and grow and take over the entire Middle East, regardless of the fact that all of those Arabs are going to become refugees and end up in the West, and then we're going to get pissed off that they're in the West without realizing that we caused the situation that made them come to the West. Aside from putting that aside, what benefit is there? What benefit is there? So I genuinely think, and again, I don't think there should be any. I don't think there should be any foreign lobbying whatsoever. But if it really just comes down to a strategic aspect, I want to hear one thing that the Gulf countries can't provide that Israel can, that justifies the trillions of dollars in war that we fell into because of Israel, such as Iraq, okay, overthrowing Gaddafi with NATO, large in part for Israel, large in part for oil, okay, Syria backing the opposition to overthrow Bashar al-Assad, every single thing everything we've done for Israel up until this point, you'll hear these pro-Israel neocons justifying it. For what? For what reason? How does it benefit America at all? So anyways, that's really everything for this video, guys. She's tweeted 221 times about Qatar. That number's probably went up another 30 in the past 13 minutes we've been doing this video together. So we'll see. We'll see if she hits 1,000 by the end of next week. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you can click the subscribe button below and give it a thumbs up as well. It helps me reach more people. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.